Hi guys, welcome back to Average Pundits, your home of all things Premier League. This week we have a very interesting episode. Obviously last week we had the international break, so it wasn't as good with the normal Premier League content, but I thought that we made a good job of it, didn't we, Reece?
I think we did. It was a lengthy episode, and I think it's one to enjoy. But now we're back from our break.
Yeah, a lot of discussion.
We've seemed to have found someone in the water.
Yeah, we've got another Liverpool fan in, lifetime Liverpool fan from Gloucester. We've got Brad Warrer. Hi, Brad.
You right, mate? How's it going?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. So, we'll jump into the Premier League breakdown. What games do we have this week, Reece?
So first off, I want to talk about Leicester's little comeback from 1-0 down against Burnley. Goals from Vardy and Tielemans after Wood put in the first goal past Schmeichel.
We spoke about Tielemans already this like in earlier episodes of the podcast. I think he's a class player.
I think he's proper good. I think he's someone who Leicester, because they had him on loan last year, didn't they?
Yeah, from
I think that buy was just class for them, to be fair.
40 million under the noses of seemingly everyone in the league.
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal talent, and
I think he walks into the top four side. I reckon any of them.
I'd say so. I'd say so as well.
Give him maybe another season at Leicester, room to grow under Brendan Rodgers. I mean, Leicester could be that top four side soon. So
we've mentioned. I mean, he's got the manager to take him on the wing. I reckon.
I mean, I've shut down Brendan Rodgers in the past. I mean, he was a manager that almost won us the league, but he's showing his class again.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a side that can dominate possession against like the bottom half sides like Burnley, and yeah. But obviously you had the VAR disallowed goal that denied Burnley the equaliser.
A very controversial topic this week for a lot of games with VAR, which we will touch on a little bit later. But I mean, all in all for Leicester, a good little outing. Burnley can be a tricky side at times.
Yeah,
so
they can be, especially away from home.
Especially at home as well, I reckon.
Yeah. Anyways, we've got Chelsea versus Newcastle, left to Alonso late winner.
Pretty unremarkable.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, Chelsea, they dominated the game. A very good game for Dubravka, the Newcastle goalkeeper. He made a lot of saves. Newcastle have no end product though. That's their main problem. They had no shots on target this game.
That's the worry, isn't it, for them?
Absolutely.
72% possession for Chelsea. I mean, it was a pretty dominant game.
Yeah, they had the stat sheet to have maybe gone 3 or 4-0, but the Newcastle defence, DeAndre Yedlin, with a goal line clearance from Tammy Abraham's shot at the dying minutes of the game, kind of saved any more embarrassment for Newcastle. I
mean, with the firepower they've got currently with that Jolinton, St. Maximin, and they've got that Almiron as well. They signed the season before.
Yeah, they signed him last season from Atlanta.
Slightly worrying the goals aren't coming for them.
I mean, Almiron has been struggling for goals for quite a while. He hasn't been running in much form. No real luck for Newcastle. So hopefully that picks up. But then we always say that about every single player that it seems to hit a dry patch of goals.
I think it just goes to show how hard the Premier League actually is.
Yeah.
Because these players, they do really well in their own league, and then they come to a Premier League and I think they really see how tough the Premier League is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So next up we got Everton, their 2-0 win. Surprising with the run of form of West Ham. It was an even game.
Yeah.
West Ham were poor.
They did. They lacked an attacking prowess that had been seen by them plenty of times before. A
strange club, West Ham, again. I mean, sometimes you look at them and you think, wow, maybe they have the potential to take it up a notch, and then the following week it would be like it's a completely different side.
Well, it's against Man United. I thought they looked quite decent against Man United. They looked very solid at the back, and then they go and play Everton, and there was nothing there for West Ham. Like you watched the whole 90 minutes, and you thought, well, they ain't going to score.
Yeah,
they've got no chance to actually put the ball in the net.
Possession was pretty 50-50, but I mean 19 total shots with 10 of those on target for Everton.
Yeah, Everton played a great game attackingly. Bernard opening the goal, fantastic dribble around the box. That was a masterclass. And then you obviously had Sigurdsson's absolutely phenomenal strike.
That was a fantastic
in stoppage time to put West Ham to bed. Really,
but then it's again, Sigurdsson's another player. You don't give time. When he's got time on the ball, he's going to punish you no matter what. So he's another player that you don't allow that much time on.
I feel like he gets forgotten about a lot. I think Sigurdsson, about what he can do. I feel like I mean at Tottenham, maybe I felt like leaving Tottenham, he kind of came out of his shell a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, people forget what he can do. I remember back he was at Swansea. I mean, some of the stuff he was doing there was amazing.
Free kicks galore. He put himself on the map at Swansea, and then he's finding his feet again, which is hopeful for him. Although he's getting to that little twilight stage of his career where he's like about to drop off.
Yeah.
So the next game we got Aston Villa clawing back against the Brighton after Adam Webster put Brighton 1-0 up. Jack Grealish, pretty rough fumbly goal to equalise.
It was a dying minutes winner though, wasn't it?
From Target. It was quite a brutal game.
Brighton were down to 10 men as well, weren't they?
Aaron Moy went off in the 35th minute.
Without one of their more important players, I'd say. He's a leader of the team, and that's probably where they dropped off. But both attacks peppered each other's goals.
VAR had a say as well in that game.
Yeah. They did. A lot of VAR has just been a very topical thing this weekend, hasn't it?
I think that's a podcast in itself, really, isn't it?
It really is. It is a topic for another time.
That's something we will have in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll have a massive debate on.
I'd like to be fair. I'd like to get quite a few people in, and we get a few different opinions. I'm sure we have people interested to.
We can create like a little room of opinionated voices.
Definitely. What was next, Reece?
So we have the disappointment that is Spurs against Watford. Abdullah Decore sticking a goal past the Spurs defence 6 minutes in.
What is going on at Tottenham at the moment?
Especially going 1-0 down to one of the worst teams this season. You've got Abdullah Decore, who hasn't really been in the best of form recently. Just as Watford team have not been great, and they were able to pick apart Spurs.
Again, we go back to VAR again in this game. It's not having massive impacts. I mean, there was penalty calls.
Yeah, there was what? I think Tottenham had a penalty call.
Yeah.
I think they might have had two actually in that game.
Yeah.
Watford had a penalty call, and then obviously Dele Alli's goal. On the screens it said no goal, but
it should have been no goal. It was well, from my perspective, I saw the ball touch Dele Alli's upper arm. It didn't touch his shoulder.
It was one of those ones which, if it gets given, there's fans in uproar.
Yeah.
But if you look at the rules, it looked like it touched his arm as well. I don't think I can deny that.
I think Watford should have had a penalty there. I think it was a penalty.
I reckon,
in my opinion,
Watford should have come out of this game with 3 points.
Yeah.
Tottenham didn't deserve to come out with a win.
They dominated possession, but again, Tottenham just not looking like the team which we know that they can be.
No, and if you can't break down Watford, then there's serious problems, I reckon, at that club.
Yeah, I mean, Watford haven't exactly been.
No, they took an 8-0 stuffing from Man City, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was only a few weeks back now.
Yeah. Next one, I'm not going to give too much information about this. Bournemouth Norwich, even game. It was a snooze fest. 3 shots on target for both sides, so it was pretty much an easy game for the goalkeepers.
Yeah, I mean, you have firepower on both of those teams. It's strange to see a goalless game.
I think if there was one team to have won it would have been Bournemouth. For me personally, watching highlights back, I think Bournemouth had more of the attacks and more of the chances. But at the end of the game, if you can't put them away, then
you're not going to win games.
Nah.
In the famous words of Michael Owen. So next game, we're going to go to Wolverhampton Wanderers drawing 1-1 with Southampton. Again, as we say many times, Wolverhampton are a strange club.
They just are weird. It's just 1 minute they're beating City 2-0, the next they're pulling draws against
I think they're focusing on Europa League. I generally reckon that's what their focus is this year. They've got it. They had a fantastic season last season. I thought they played very well. Well, they took points. Other than Liverpool, they took points off every top 6 club. Didn't they?
Pretty much, yeah.
So I think now that they want to see how far they can go in the Europa League, really, and I think that's the focus.
That is a phenomenal stat, isn't it? Taking points off like 5 out of the top 6.
If anyone can do it, this Wolves team can do it. They've got the firepower. They've got a very, very, very strong defence, as I've mentioned in previous podcasts when I predicted that Wolves win against City. But
tell you what was interesting to see, Danny Ings again.
Ings continues to score
quite a bit.
He's
a good player, to be fair, Danny Ings. I think he didn't get a run in at Liverpool because of the injuries he had.
But he scored in quite a few games. He scored in like 3-4 games in a row now.
Yeah.
He's part of a Southampton attack that peppered the Wolves net.
It's good to see. I mean, for a long time, I think Southampton's got a good manager. I just don't necessarily think they are the be all and end all of a good Premier League club. I don't think they're at the standard they should be.
No.
But again, Jimenez getting the goal for the Wolverhampton side. Again, a good player in Jimenez, to be fair. Wolves do have a lot of good firepower as well.
They do. Jimenez is a very good player.
VAR again.
Jimenez versus
Disallowed
VAR is a topic. Like, Jimenez can't seem to get away from it. 2 disallowed goals for Jimenez, but then obviously finally putting that penalty away against Southampton. Yeah. So, but yeah, next we got at the end of Crystal Palace's win streak. It's over. And
had to be at the hands of someone who was going to probably
absolutely annihilate. Well, not annihilated, but Manchester City were able to put them away 2-0. Gabriel Jesus filling in for Sergio Aguero, scoring the sort of diving header. In the 39th minute, and then
I really like Jesus as a player.
I think he's a quality player.
I think he should move away.
I think he should as well. I think he needs to be the star man somewhere.
Yeah, I reckon a move away to, I don't know, Borussia Dortmund. Him, Sancho, Royce. That could be a horrendous trio for Bayern Munich to.
But then every time he comes on, he seems he enjoys coming off to sort of make a statement to Pep. Say, look, I think that's the competition there.
Yeah.
I mean,
if who's better out of them two.
If anyone's going to be, if you're going to be in anyone's shadow, I mean, to be in Aguero's, that's, I mean, obviously a player of legendary caliber.
Absolutely.
In the Premier League.
I think he's best striker in the Premier League, personally.
I think he goes on the list of possibly top 10, top 5 of all time.
I'd say he's probably in that top 5 bracket of all time. Aguero is one of them legendary players. Like, he's only been in the Premier League he's been in the Premier League for 8 years now. He's been one of the flag bearers of the Premier League for the past decade.
In a City team which has been heavily criticised for a long time for not having the history which a lot of big clubs have, he is creating a chapter of history in his own right.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is. He's breaking goal records. He's their number 1 goal scorer of all time, and I don't see him slowing down this season or next season.
No.
But yeah, obviously, speaking of not slowing down, David Silva with he won a Man of the Match award, and also he.
To be fair, that was a great goal.
Sublime
great pass
volley.
From Sterling.
Sublime volley. Took it under control. It just shows what class the Spaniard has.
We've been extremely lucky to see his talent in the Prem for so long. I think he has been a phenomenal player. Along
with Aguero, him and Aguero have been some of the longest tenured Man City players in a long time. So to see that level of class for so long from 2 outstanding players is it's refreshing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Then you had Arsenal Sheffield, didn't you?
Yeah, and oh dear, Arsenal. Dear.
What a weird end result to the end of the Prem.
Yeah, what a morning to wake up an Arsenal fan, eh?
Yeah, genuinely, yeah.
But Pepe had that chance that he missed.
That was atrocious.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But I think again, going to the Premier League, it can just show how the Premier League is the hardest league in the world, because he was doing bits in League One, and then he comes to the Premier League and he hasn't really found his feet. He's only got 1 goal, and that was from a penalty.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, highlights included that penalty and then the dribble past Van Dijk. I think that was the two.
Yeah,
the two highlights so
those are the only things that have made it onto Instagram feed so far. So until he makes another couple of headlines, then.
I feel like a great example of looking at the stage which Pepe's at right now. I mean, look at some of the players who have come to United of recently. Your Di Marias, your Memphis Depays, players which have such a high reputation, then they come to the Prem and they just cannot find their feet. No. It sometimes it happens. I mean, not all players can adjust to the league.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some players can. Like I'm sure we'll mention him a bit later as well. Fabinho has found his feet phenomenally. He's one of the better central defensive midfielders in the league. Can trap the ball, his interceptions. He can dribble with it as well. He can become a part of this attack. So to have found his feet so far at a young age as well.
But I mean, a 1-0 loss for Arsenal. I mean, all in all, a very poor outing for Arsenal.
It was. A lot of these games show that if you have more of the ball, doesn't mean you're going to get results.
Yeah.
I think on the counter.
I think Sheffield United can take points off anyone. It was like they almost took points off Liverpool. It was only a little bit of a goalkeeping error that we beat him.
Absolutely.
But
That was extremely unfortunate for Henderson.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, what a keeper he's looking.
oh,
like
he
this
looks
season.
class.
He's
I was
looking
say
awesome.
you must be getting a bit giddy with excitement seeing.
It's great knowing that he's a United player. Right now, I don't know where he's going to fit in. It's a slight worry because he's clearly a Premier League ready keeper. He's not a second keeper. He's ready.
He's ready to take that big challenge, and whether it is at somewhere like Man United, he plays well in a kind of meh defense, but you've got, if you put him behind a good defense, maybe behind Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire. If you bring in another centre back, because I don't think you've got one. I mean, Lindelof's okay, but I think he could have a lengthy time at Man United, especially being so young at the minute.
Would you take him back next season?
No, I wouldn't.
I agree.
I feel Sergio Romero right now is a perfectly substantial second keeper. I feel De Gea currently, as long as he wants to stay at the club, we owe that man an awful lot. So as long as he wants to stay at the club, his position is obviously going to be made.
De Gea's stuck through thick and thin, and especially after all the media sort of backlash against him. You've got, that thing where he stole donuts from Tesco's.
Actually, now that you mention that's such a weird thing to bring up. I remember that. How is that on your head?
I don't know. It's when I think De Gea, I think donuts. I fancy a donut right now.
I mean, that's impressive. Wow. But I tell you what, that leads us quite nicely to talking about the final,
about David De Gea.
the final game of the Premier League that we want to talk about today. We obviously Arsenal was the last game, but we want to end on Man United Liverpool because this week we are talking more in depth about Liverpool Football Club. But 1-1. I mean, we've got a United fan here and we've got two Liverpool fans on the other side. So
watch what you say.
Yeah.
I've got to be very careful. But boys, what did we think?
Worst.
Yeah, personally, I think if you're a Man United fan, and you were sat there during the game thinking, "Oh, Man United ain't going to turn up," then I think you're a bit stupid because it's Man United Liverpool. It's a game you don't want to lose. Either team doesn't want. It's like Liverpool Everton. That's a derby you just don't want to lose.
No, it's a big.
It's the bragging rights there, but then I think we stooped to the level of Man United, and then Man United raised their game.
Yeah, I think we went. Liverpool went into that game not actually giving Man United a bit of credit, but that's exactly what Man United do to the lower teams. We did to Man United what they do to Newcastle.
That's a very good point. Actually, that is a very good point.
We went in there. We didn't have any fire about us. This was genuinely our worst performance of the season.
Yeah.
Because we only came away with 1 point.
But then I don't even think we've been outstanding this season either. To be fair.
Oh,
I don't
no.
think we've got out of third gear personally.
You've had some weird results.
Yeah.
We got out of fire against Leicester, out of fire against Sheffield United. A lot of luck has gone our way recently, but I think that shows the passion and the drive to win. This game, we didn't see any of that.
No.
And an interesting point, I mean, I having conversations with Brad before this game, Brad actually predicted a 1-0 United win. And obviously, 84 minutes into this game, that's what it was looking like.
It was.
Liverpool were all attacking towards the end, but I mean, I was looking at this thinking, surely he wasn't right, surely not. But
it was one of those things. I think any Liverpool fan would have predicted deep in their heart that Man United could take something off Liverpool here because, like I said, it's one of those games that no one wants to lose. I think Solskjaer, he set up perfectly well against Liverpool. I think you didn't give us time on the ball. Trent was getting hassled, Van Dijk was getting hassled, Robertson was getting hassled.
yeah,
And I think that's what got you to a draw. I think near enough the end where we scored our goal, you looked a bit knackered, tired. You looked a bit. There wasn't that drive like there was in the first half. But I think that's just down to your fitness levels, really.
that's just the way it goes, isn't it?
I don't think taking Rashford off was a smart decision as well.
No.
I think that was I think that there's a few things that Ollie still needs to get right. But I think he's leading the right way, especially after this result. By far, United's best show in the season.
I'd argue in the sense that I don't necessarily think this is us on the right path. I feel like how Brad said earlier, I mean, it's a game you don't want to lose. I mean, if we can perform that kind of standard like we played in the first half of Liverpool, if that is in our locker, which
I reckon
clearly was,
you'll be sorted for the rest of the season, I reckon.
Exactly. I mean, if it's there and we've seen it happen now, why isn't it happening more frequently?
No, but the thing is, I think now that Martial's coming back, I think that's a huge boost for Man United. But Rashford's not a striker. I don't care what anyone says. He's not a striker. His position's on the left.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, mate.
His position is on the left. I don't think he's not big enough as a striker, in my opinion. I think if you'd have had Lukaku in that game, I reckon 100% you'd have beat us.
Yeah, I genuinely think that.
That's
Lukaku,
just horrible to hear.
He's a 20 goal a game, goal per season player. You can't deny that.
I can deny it because it wasn't happening.
I mean,
he had 2 seasons at the club, and it just wasn't happening. I mean, albeit it can be down through some managerial tactics, it could be down for other reasons. There's lots of factors which influence players' performances on the pitch. I understand that, but his caliber, he was bought in for a great big fee. I was very happy to see it done. And he wasn't a failure at the club. He wasn't a failure.
No.
It's just he didn't hit the levels which he wanted to hit, and then in the end, the club just lost faith with him. And he wanted to move as well.
Since you got rid of him, look at it now. You can't score.
No, yeah,
that's the issue, man. Because I think defensively, I wouldn't say you're solid, but I think you're on the right path of getting to that solid level. But then you need good attackers to get to score goals.
We're in a position now where it's looking more and more like a striker should have been signed, and
there's a lot of talk about Mandzukic, isn't there?
I was going to say that was the name floating around, and that's the name which I personally reckon we'll probably see come through the door in January.
Would you take him?
Would I? I'd take him for under 10 mil.
I'd take him for a loan spell for half a season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't waste money on that. Remember what Actually, no. Remember what happened last time you took a loan deal? You had Falcao coming and. He was a shambles.
He is a perfectly fine attacker. I mean, he's proved it on for numerous of Europe's top leagues. He's proved it on the international stage. It's not what we need. We need a young, good. We need to put some money in a good player. I mean, I think everyone would like to see that. But a short-term fix in January, if we can get him for under 10 million, I'd be very interested. But Juventus are notoriously quite tricky to get players out of.
I think with the state of Man United at the minute, personally, I'd put Greenwood on for a couple of Premier League games, give him some Premier League starts, get a couple of Premier League games under his belt, and you never know, if he starts banging in goals every game, then you're going to think, okay, well, that's our star striker then.
Yeah,
I mean, Drift. We will have a proper United podcast coming for a little bit more into the future now. But all in all, a pretty, an interesting game is what I'd say. I'd say interesting, but maybe unremarkable. But our topic is Liverpool today, so we will drift in a little bit more about Liverpool Football Club. But first things first, Reece, we've got the hype train.
Oh, do we? Yes, we do. And before we get underway with the hype train, I would like to. Oh wait, I can see another carriage. I can see another carriage. It's opening up because we are getting a lot loaded in this. So I shall do a little bit of a shift around. This is a star player, and this is the category for those players that aren't quite, the level that, world class like Andrew Robertson and Leroy Sané are in right now. But they're not, they've passed the prospect bit, but they are not average. So they are quite a good player. So this would be fit like your Wilfried Zaha's and
we're going
stuff like that.
Pop into the star player category.
Star player. So this is the one just after prospect and just before world class.
Okay.
So yeah.
Before we continue, I feel like I need to give Harry Wilson some justice after he was put in average.
We were pre-warned that this would be incoming from Brad.
Because if I'm honest, personally, I'm a bit sad that Liverpool let him go on loan this season because I think he's a perfect against Man United. Salah was out.
Yeah.
Origi's not great on the wing, and he's not great when he starts.
Oxlade-Chamberlain offered nothing.
Harry Wilson. He's done it at Old Trafford before.
He has done it at Old Trafford. I won't deny him that.
So yeah, I mean, maybe we might have him back in January, depending on what happens. So, but yeah,
I think he's looked really good at Bournemouth as well. For me personally, I think that's sort of not his level, but if he's going to get some experience under that is his level. We'll
show this to Harry Wilson, and he might send you a signed shirt.
I will take that. Don't you worry.
Yeah. So who we've got first on the hype train?
So there's only been one from the Instagram, and then we'll get onto Brad's onto those picks. So first we've got Mason Mount.
Okay, and that's a tough one to start with. I've this season he's looked very good, hasn't he?
Can I say something controversial?
Go on.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Start us off.
I'm going to throw him in world class. Think, because at Derby, I think he was amazing under Frank Lampard. He was proper good at Derby, and I think at Chelsea now this season, he has looked possibly one of the best young English players.
You know
in
what?
the Premier League.
You know what? I'm not going to deny you the stuff that you've said there, but to put him in world class, I think is absolutely bonkers, mate. I mean, right now,
yeah, I think he's only going to get better. He ain't going to get worse. He's only going to get better.
He's along the right lines, but
if this is him just getting better, what's he going to be like when he's at his prime?
Oh, mate, he's probably going to be phenomenal. But I mean, we've got a bit of time.
He's going to be world class, but I think it's a bit premature to put him in that category now. I reckon. I think he is actually past that prospect bit. I think prospect was when he was at Derby County, proving that he is one of the better English centre midfielders in the Championship, and probably in just in England as a whole. So
you suggesting put him in that good?
I think we have our first star player through the ranks.
You know what, I'll take that. I'll take a star player.
Chelsea
at Chelsea.
Star player at Chelsea. Do you think? I mean, you've also got. I mean, I've got to think you've got a lot of other players like Tammy Abraham and N'Golo Kante.
I'd put Kante at world class,
Yeah,
to be fair.
I would.
You know what, boys? I might have to agree with you on this one today.
Mason Mount.
Have our first
I think
player?
Mason Mount is one of those players that is hitting his stride right now, and him and Abraham are linking up right now. So I'd say he's a star player.
Yeah, you know what? I'll agree with that, boys. Put him in the star player category.
There it is.
Well done, first one.
We've got an agreement, one for one.
And then Brad, you came with a couple, I think.
You did.
Ryan Brewster.
Okay.
Liverpool's Ryan Brewster.
He's a very young player. He's a very promising player.
I think
Joe's making a face.
Pre-season, he looked proper good in pre-season with Liverpool, but in the under-23s, he's looked really good. He's banging in goals. I'm pretty sure he's Liverpool's top goal scorer in under-23s. I may be wrong, but
I mean, I feel like he is going to struggle to make an impact at Liverpool.
Well, at the minute, yeah, because me personally, I wouldn't put him above Roberto Firmino.
I mean, that'd be insanity.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I also wouldn't put him above Origi.
Oh, I would.
Nah.
I don't think I would either. Origi's too good to bring off the bench. He brings a certain energy off the bench.
I think a loan move for Brewster to get some first team football would have been a phenomenal thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't think Liverpool should let him go, because I think that would be silly. I think they're letting go a good potential player. But yeah. I mean, I'd counter maybe going too hypey about Brewster by looking at what Mason Greenwood's doing at United. Similar age. I think.
Yeah, but then that's two different ways, because Liverpool are only on the way up. Man United are on the decline. They got Europa League for starters, which is where you'd play your young players. Yep. Whereas Liverpool, they got Champions League. They're not going to put Brewster in for a Champions League game, are they?
They're not going to put him in for a Champions League, but I mean, you forget you've got other cups. You've got FA Cup.
I think we'll see an appearance from him in the Carabao and FA Cups.
I think that what we should do is, like, with our young players, remember what we did with Raheem Sterling when we first introduced him into the Premier League. We brought him on as a substitute, came on, he ran about, he did his part. If Ryan Brewster could come in as a substitute one game, impress, just do his thing, work hard, he could be more off the bench and just keep giving him more minutes. So he could be one of the first substitutions in like a season. So he just needs to keep working and working.
I think there's no doubt that he goes in the prospect category.
100%, yeah.
He doesn't go anywhere else other than that. I feel like, personally, for my peace of mind, I'd like to see him do a little bit more. I want to see more of him, because I have no doubt that Liverpool could have themselves a really good little player there, but I want to see more from him. So, I mean, that prospect category, I think that's a good place to put him.
Yeah. He's young now. He could be ready within the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So yeah, I'd agree there. Prospect is a good category.
Brad, you had one more?
Josh King from Bournemouth.
Josh King, ex United player.
Indeed, he is Norwegian superstar.
Yeah. Again, I'm a big fan.
I'm a guy to say average.
You put him in that average from the get go there.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree. He's not an upper caliber player. Obviously, he ain't young.
No. I think the thing with Josh King is he'll get a couple goals in a game or a couple goals over 2-3 games, and then that's it for the rest of the season. You don't see him.
He's not above 15 goals per season.
No.
He is a 10 goal per season.
I feel like Bournemouth make up for that with having Callum Wilson as well. I feel like they have
that combination is a very good combo
of similar kind of levels, I'd say. So they make them two players together. They make up for those that one kind of 20+ goal a season player.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like Josh King. I mean, like I said, I'd maybe be a bit reluctant to put him any higher. So I think I'd agree with you guys in putting him in that average category. But I feel like he's a perfectly fine proven.
He is good. He is good, and it's hard to call someone average. But when you've got a lack of categories to put him in, you know, he's 27 years of age. He's not quite a star.
I feel like he's at the level he needs to be at. But Bournemouth is a comfortable place for him.
He's a reliable goal scorer. We'll give him that. Obviously, he comes off. Yeah, him and Wilson, they bounce off each other. They score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to put him in the average category.
Well, there we go, guys. 3 more people added to the hype train this week.
Station is empty, and we're off to episode 6.
Yeah, we're off to episode 6 now. Sixth podcast in. We are now talking about Liverpool. This was always going to be a big podcast. We had Man City very early on. I feel like whenever we do a top 6, there's always potential for it to be a big podcast. But without a doubt, Liverpool, they have a massive fan base, so it's something which I feel like we've been interested to talk about. And right now, there's not a lot of faults you can say. I feel like they are currently the model team in the Prem to beat, I would say right now. I mean, Man City have had a loss. Liverpool currently haven't. They got points taken off them on the weekend by Manchester United, but I mean, that was always going to be an interesting little game. But right now, I don't know about you guys, but I think Liverpool, they're the team to beat.
Well, that's it. I think that first game, Liverpool City, that would be the big test for both teams, really. Because if Liverpool come in and smash Man City, let's say they smash them off the park, that's only going to dent them, I reckon, for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I see nothing when that result rolls around. I see nothing but a Liverpool win, and I feel like it will be a good game. But I reckon that's going to be where it ends up.
Yeah. Obviously, we sit back more defensively now. We have Van Dijk to lead us from the back, and then obviously we've got the front 3 that's always going to put in the goals. But when you look at Manchester City as well, they do score a lot more goals.
They got goals from everywhere.
Yeah. So far, obviously, we've got 21 this season.
Yeah.
And
only 7 conceded.
Yeah, we've only that is one of our biggest upgrades, I'd say.
That Van Dijk signing was probably, in my opinion, probably one of the best purchases in recent years.
I don't think I can deny that.
No,
I mean,
he is genuinely, I'd say,
because our defence was shambolic before he came.
Yeah, you know, back 2011 we were signing Paul Konchesky.
Yeah.
I think we have
it
really.
Was that bad that
around.
we thought Mamadou Sakho was quite a decent centre back?
Yeah, we were all genuinely. I mean, he's turned out to be a good signing now, but we all genuinely thought, oh yeah, we got a very good, promising player in John Matip. I mean, yeah, he's proven himself now. But he needs that partner.
He was free as well. I mean, I think can't let that be lost. I mean, Klopp, that was a good acquisition there.
Yeah.
I mean, that experience of him being in the Premier League and coming up against Matip, I feel like he knew what he brought to the table when he signed him, and I mean, it's worked out. I mean, I feel like Matip's a good defender. He's good.
He looks a lot better next to Van Dijk.
He does. I personally feel like if I was going to compare him, I think he's kind of at the similar level to like Victor Lindelof at United. I think they're not in the same way of their playing style, but I feel like they are good players. If they have a good partner next to them, they look even better.
I reckon Joel Matip's top 5 centre backs in the league.
Nah, I don't know about that one. Top
5 because in this season, I reckon there's times where he's outshined Van Dijk.
I could probably name 10 centre backs that are probably better than Joel Matip.
I thought on paper, I'd say.
Maybe yeah.
He's had some very good performances on the day, I would say.
Yeah, depending on obviously.
Burnley, I thought he was quality against Burnley.
But yeah, obviously you've got your Laportes, you've got maybe Harry Maguire. I'd maybe put above Joel Matip. I'd say without a shadow of a doubt, you've got. Why am I struggling to think of names now?
So you gone off the.
That's what I mean. Mate. Top 5.
Potentially, yeah. Maybe you got a point there.
One thing I did find quite interesting, looking at Liverpool stats at the moment, you're averaging a shooting accuracy of around 38%. Now the goals are there. You've got a great front 3. Do you guys feel that any upgrades need to be made to that attacking side, or do you still feel confident in that ability?
I feel confident. I think Klopp felt confident as well. That's why he didn't really buy anyone in the summer.
See, a lot of Liverpool fans were upset about that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And a lot of Liverpool fans on Twitter was like, "No, we need to go out and buy players." And look at us now. 8 games in?
I think
we haven't lost.
I think I expected this from Liverpool right now. I expected them to be in this position. Maybe I thought Man City they wouldn't be 6 points clear right now, but I thought Man City would be maybe a little bit closer. But I feel like the lack of signings was purely personal to just those Liverpool fan base. I thought because everyone likes seeing a new name come through the door, don't they?
Yeah, that's just what we're used to. Obviously, we've had Van Dijk coming in through the doors and Salah in the same transfer window. Then we had Mane, and then that since then we've had a gradual. But to have no names in the summer was kind of a big shock to be like, oh, we haven't brought anyone in.
Yeah.
Especially if we could actually add and bolster the attack. Like against Man United, we had no creativity through the middle. I think that's what we lack.
That's where you miss Salah.
Or do you feel like, throw something into the hat, do you feel like that's where you miss maybe like someone like Coutinho maybe?
I was about to say, I think we missed
If
Coutinho.
there was one player that we could have at least got in the summer, I think it would have been Coutinho. If we could have bought Coutinho back for that 2-year loan deal that was reported, I think I genuinely reckon there'd be no stopping Liverpool.
I remember having quite a lot of discussions with you, especially Brad, over the summer about this Coutinho signing, and I remember me saying at the time, I don't think Liverpool should have done it, because I feel like Liverpool, he went away, he forced that move away, he wanted that move, and I felt like they could have got someone better. I mean, I feel like Coutinho is a very, very good player,
Yeah.
Slightly under the shadow at Barcelona, but I feel like the next big thing could have been signed. I mean, you look at Ajax, I feel like Liverpool could have been great to sign someone like a Ziyech, Van der Beek. I feel like those players were there to get, and now they're both there.
But then,
foreseeable.
they haven't got any Premier League experience, whereas Coutinho had Premier League, and he probably gave his best season at Liverpool before he left. That was probably his best season at Liverpool.
That half a season where he left was a fantastic season. But then you look at what we did with that Coutinho money. We put it in. We bought Mohamed Salah for 40 million.
Again, now I mean, not only like is talent on the pitch, but I mean, Mohamed Salah is just financially so valuable. I mean, his own brand. I mean, across the Middle East and Northern Africa, he is hailed as a hero.
Exactly, that he's having statues made of him.
He's like Messi to South America. He's like Ronaldo to Portugal.
He's the Egyptian king.
He's an icon.
He is the Egyptian king.
But like you see in transfer windows, like how Klopp has turned it around. Like yes, he spent £41 million on Christian Benteke back in 2015-16. And then
how much did he spend on it?
40.
No.
Mind you, we spent 35 on Andy Carroll.
Yeah.
I had no idea Benteke was for that much money.
Yeah.
41.85 million. I'm guessing that's with add-ons. Yeah. So it might have been like a 35 million pound fee with add-ons.
Wow, I did not know that.
But then in the same transfer window, we got Roberto Firmino for 36 million. We spent more on Christian Benteke than we did for Sadio Mane, Jorginho Wijnaldum, Mohamed Salah, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Andrew Robertson.
That is bizarre, isn't it?
Just to name a few.
Out of all of your players, Robertson was probably the best acquisition for the value of the
£8 million. He's turned into maybe a £80 million left back, maybe even more. He is a phenomenal player. He can trap.
And he's at Liverpool for the foreseeable. You're not going to get him out of Liverpool.
No. I could see him potentially with if Van Dijk does get to the point where he's like, yeah, I might move on, he could get captaincy over.
I think the Premier League has been missing out for that iconic left back since the likes of Patrick Evra and Ashley Cole.
I was about to say, Patrick Evra and Ashley Cole, both they were iconic.
Those two in that role for a long time were debated as being some of the best left backs in the Prem for a long time.
Yeah.
And since then, I thought there's been plenty of good players, but I mean, there's been nobody that, because I mean, you don't really hear too many people raving about your fullbacks, but I mean, Robertson.
Well, in this day and age, you do. I think the fullbacks are probably the most important position on the field.
It's like what Jamie Carragher said to Gary Neville. It's like no one will screw up and be the next Gary Neville.
Yeah.
You either go from a right winger to a right back, or a centre back to a right back, or a left back.
But
You don't.
I feel like a lot of the time nowadays, people are starting in that position and they're arguably moving their way up the pitch.
Well,
that's what I reckon will happen with Trent in
Trent,
the future.
Trent started out as a centre midfielder.
That's why I reckon he'll end his career as a centre mid.
He did shifts as a right back to fill in. So maybe, if we do make a right back sign-in, we can move him up the pitch, and he could be a holding midfielder, because he's very good at defending. His vision is some of the best in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I did say that. I'd say arguably maybe apart from Kevin De Bruyne, I think Trent has the best vision in the league apart from De Bruyne.
Yeah, definitely.
Currently, his distribution of passing on his day when he's at his best is ridiculous. He has no right to be doing that from right back.
No, but I'd say like you say, we're in an age now where we're like raving about these two wing backs.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time a team has had two wing backs that have been so important and so vital to a team.
No, it's been a very long time since we've seen it. I feel like another point I wanted to raise up as well. You have obviously Van Dijk, such a commanding presence on that pitch and such an amazing player. He's looking like he's going to carry on being. To me, I've said this so many times. He's your captain. He is your captain.
Oh, see. Well, Joe knows my feelings on this, but I think there's only one captain in that club, and it's Jordan Henderson, and that is the reason why he starts week in, week out for Liverpool, because he is that captain's role. He was brought under Steven Gerrard's wing, and I reckon at the time that Jordan Henderson came, and the time that Steven Gerrard was obviously past it and was like, yeah, I'm gonna go retire soon. If he wouldn't have thought that Jordan Henderson wasn't good enough to be captain, he would have said something there and then. I think because we had Martin Skirtle at the same time, which I reckon probably should have got the vice-captain role at that time, personally. But he wanted Jordan Henderson, so I think I think you see similarities in them.
I have no doubt in my mind that Jordan Henderson was probably the man for the job at the time, because I don't think there was any other real candidates.
Well, yeah, Martin Skirtle. I think he would have been the next vice-captain.
To be fair, it would have been one of those two. But I mean, you give it to Henderson through convenience.
I think that was where we were in our darkest period.
Oh yeah.
We as you say, we could have had Martin Skirtle as our vice captain. Who in their right mind would have Martin Skirtle as our vice captain?
I could see Brad.
He's class.
Martin Skirtle was great for a time. He just obviously it was in that dark period where we were like,
his career peaked when we almost won the league in 13-14.
Yeah, and then you had Daniel Agger as well, who was an absolutely phenomenal player.
Oh yeah, he was class.
A Liverpool kind of cult hero. A lot of Liverpool fans.
He had the tattoo on his knuckles, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But now we see what it's like I've said before. We brought in Alisson, we brought in Van Dijk. We now know what our problems used to be back in 2011, where we had dodgy centre back and goalkeeper problems.
I feel like it took Klopp didn't do this overnight. It took him a while.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Feel and you can't argue with the project. I mean, it's taken a long time, but I mean, you're at a good stage now, so I mean, you can argue it's all for a good success.
Yeah.
But I mean, you took a big look at yourselves and you thought, okay, this is what we need to strengthen. But going back to what we're talking about with Henderson being the captain right now, I feel like obviously to come in, and he's been a captain for a while now, to come in and take that captaincy off him, I feel like it does show a lot of disrespect. But I don't know, because
I think every Liverpool fan sees what Jordan Henderson puts on the field. I think I've always said, and I know my dad's also a big one on this. If you understand football, you understand Jordan Henderson, why he's a good player and why he's the captain of Liverpool Football Club.
So from the other end of the scope, right? I'll tell you what I see from my perspective as a United fan. I see a very, very passionate player. I see a very passionate player who loves the club and loves playing for the club. Now, that was also what Gerrard exhibited. But the differences in the two, I feel, was Gerrard was world class.
Oh yeah, obviously. I don't think anyone can. No one's saying that Jordan Henderson was better than Steven Gerrard, because that would, I think you need your head looked at if you was trying to say that. But
I mean, I'll look at United as well. I mean, Ander Herrera, before Ander Herrera left, arguably we have there's Mancunian players in that Manchester United team. Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford, and so forth. But then you've got someone like Ander Herrera, who was bought in, been at the club he was at the club for 3 or 4 years, and every single time I saw him on that pitch, he was kissing the badge, he was holding the badge. He loved playing for that club. Now, I felt that was a similar kind of passion which Jordan Henderson exhibited there.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't give him the captaincy.
Well,
I mean,
no,
arguably he could have been a candidate for it, but I feel like there are more commanding players.
Well,
in
there's
the
that
Liverpool
story,
team.
Barcelona, obviously the incredible comeback at Anfield last season, was he obviously got injured just before half-time.
Yeah.
And when he went back into half-time, he couldn't actually carry on. But then he had so many painkillers, so many sprays and everything because he wanted to go back out there. And you see him, if you watch I think it's Inside Anfield or something like that, at the end of the game, you just see him collapse to the floor next to all the Liverpool fans. And I think that just goes to show what he puts in I don't think no man other than Jordan Henderson puts that in at Liverpool.
He's an extremely hard worker, and I feel like because he isn't maybe that Steven Gerrard level, he has to work even harder every week.
Yeah, that's what it is. Our previous captain was Steven Gerrard, possibly one of the best English midfielders there is.
And how do you take over that? I mean, obviously that's a massive job.
There's a lot to live up to in taking over a captaincy, especially when you come to a player like Steven Gerrard and taking over his role. But obviously you had, I think Gerrard had a lot to choose with. A lot to do with the choosing of Jordan Henderson. I think that he, like Fergie did with Moyes when they took over the managerial role. I think Gerrard sat with Brendan Rodgers and was like, I want him to be captain.
He would have told Brendan Rodgers, look, he ain't good enough. If Gerrard thought he weren't good enough, he would have said he's not good enough.
He's that type of player that he like. I think that's why Henderson got it over maybe Martin Skirtle. Or
definitely.
I mean, just. For pure passion's sake, that is one side of the argument. But I cannot see any scenario where if you put that captaincy on Van Dijk and he's barking orders around that pitch, I think you can almost substitute Jordan Henderson for a man with arguably as much passion. Maybe not necessarily as much passion for the club, because I mean I feel like he loves the club, he loves playing there. But no one's denying that Jordan Henderson's the more passionate player.
Oh yeah, well that's why he's got the captaincy, because every Liverpool fan loves a local lad as the captain, which Trent Alexander-Arnold will be in the future, I reckon. And he will be future Liverpool captain, because everyone in Liverpool loves a Liverpool captain. I mean, Jordan Henderson's come from possibly the best Liverpool captain in history. I
mean, what are we talking? How old's Van Dijk? Is he 27, 28?
He's late 20s.
Late 20s. I mean, personally, I feel like, although he definitely is probably enjoying his football at Liverpool, I feel like he does have a move in him as well. I feel like we will see him go to one more club before he retires. I think
we'll have his peak years though.
You'll have his peak years, and you'll have arguably the most exciting time to see him in action. But I feel like Real Madrid.
But they're not. I don't. Everyone says Real Madrid and Barcelona, but I don't think they're as big as clubs as what they used to be. Every player wanted to go to Barcelona and Real Madrid back in the day, but I don't think they've got that statue anymore.
I'd argue that Real Madrid might not. I think Barcelona's a whole other story. You've got. Obviously, you've got Messi still there. You've got some of the best centre backs in the world. You've got Umtiti there. You've got
Gerard Piqué.
Yeah, you got Piqué.
A lot of people want to go over there and they want to play with the Ronaldos and the Messis and stuff. I mean, I feel like that heavily influenced De Ligt's choice in going to Juventus. I don't think that was the right choice at all.
No.
I don't think it was the right choice at all. I feel like Barcelona would have been the right choice, arguably, or maybe he could have even said, I want that move to Barcelona, but possibly I want to stay another season at Ajax, maybe just to get a little bit more playing time, because you're looking at him at Juventus right now and he looks slightly unremarkable. But I feel like Van Dijk, going to one of these other big clubs, I feel like it's something which is in the locker. But speaking, going back to the main point I was trying to bring up, I don't feel like Henderson is as good as the rest of that Liverpool team, and I've said this numerous times. I feel like he's a passionate player. I feel like he's, I'll tell you what, I can even say he's a good captain, but I do not think he is the same level as those. To be fair,
a lot of Liverpool fans think he's the weak link in our midfield. Personally, I don't. I think it's Gini Wijnaldum. Personally, in my opinion, and I know there's got some weird looks here, but for me, our best three is Naby Keita, Fabinho, and Jordan Henderson.
I would argue.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Right now, I'd say Wijnaldum's again a player which on his day you can make with some really good results in, but recently he has been looking good, very good.
Wijnaldum, I was say he's been, he fills different roles for different teams. Obviously, in the Netherlands team, he doesn't. He doesn't play like he does at Liverpool. No. At Liverpool, he sits back and then he also he distributes a ball.
I think that's what it is. We see him at the Netherlands and how good he is there. And then when he comes to Liverpool, we don't see that. And I think the last time we saw that was Barcelona
But
when he came on.
Is that down to Klopp's tactical?
I genuinely think
it
it
could
is. He playing for the Netherlands. He exacerbates a different talent. Like he's so versatile as a player. He can play anywhere in that midfield three. He could either play sit back and help Fabinho, or he can come forward and bring the ball up. Obviously, not the creative spark that we need, but for now, he's a great player. He's fantastic.
I mean, maybe we won't see him be at Liverpool for years to come. Maybe he will move on.
He might do.
But I feel like he's a great player at Liverpool. But I feel like Jordan Henderson could be replaced very easily in that team with the captaincy going to Van Dijk, and then I genuinely, if that happens, I don't think I could even pick a single hole in the starting 11 anymore.
No,
because I mean, at the moment, the only thing I could maybe have a little dig at right now is him, and that's not me saying I think he's absolutely awful. I just do not think he's Liverpool standard. I think personally he's average Premier League standard.
Exactly, as the High Train says, he's in the average category with Mr. Sissoko.
Yeah.
So he runs. Yeah, he's got stamina to run for hours. He's got the passion. He's got the drive. But what he differs from Steven Gerrard is it's just the natural football talent. Like he doesn't have that natural prowess as a central midfielder to go out there and dish balls out, assists galore. He's not that type of player. He's not an A-class player. He's a C player.
I have a couple more points I wanted to touch on. Obviously, last season when the Champions League, absolutely remarkable Champions League season for Liverpool. I mean, absolutely. I mean, like a fairy tale kind of.
I think we deserved that after Barcelona, if I'm honest.
That Barcelona game, the Barcelona game and the Tottenham Man City game. I mean, those are arguably some of the best games of football I've ever seen. I mean, I was with Brad watching the Tottenham Man City game, and the hype of that game was like, I mean, this surely can't be beaten.
No, yeah,
surely
that was amazing, but that's the beauty of the Champions League, I reckon.
Yes, without a doubt, beauty of the Champions League, beauty of the football. But what I was going to say, is there a ceiling for Liverpool? Do you think is there a point where you're going to have to regress? Because I feel like right now you are the favourites to win the Premier League. Currently, but we all know what Man City are like. I mean,
we drop points, so anything can happen now.
But I mean, if Man City can find a way to turn it around, I feel like if maybe the season isn't won this season with Liverpool, do those players get frustrated? Do those players look at starting getting moves elsewhere?
I'll tell you which player might be getting a little frustrated. Sadio Mane.
See, I would have said Salah, personally.
I feel like both of them for their own unique reasons.
Sadio Mane, over the international break, been talking a lot, and when players start to talk a lot, they are kind of
it gives you a
itching to get out. He's been commenting a lot about Lionel Messi, hasn't he? On that Ballon d'Or nomination from him, and he seems to have been. I'm not sure if he's got in his own head or not, but I think Mane might be looking for a bit of a move, especially because Salah obviously is our star player. He is the face of Liverpool right now, and I'm not sure how much Mane likes sitting back out of that limelight. I think Mane might like to get into that spotlight, maybe at Real Madrid.
Yeah, Mane loved it at Liverpool when it was before Salah.
Just him.
When he came to Liverpool the first season, and it was him and Coutinho.
Yeah,
Coutinho wasn't better than Mane, and Mane wasn't better than Coutinho. They were there. Yeah. Then Salah came in and dishes 31 goals out in his first season. That Mane is just like, all right, well,
all right, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Salah, I feel. I mean, your star players are Van Dijk, Salah, and Mane. They're all over £100 million players. That's a given.
Yeah.
One of the headlines which was seen around the last couple of transfer windows, one which I thought was ridiculous, and I still think it's ridiculous, but an interesting topic nonetheless, is Kylian Mbappe. There were links, weren't there? There were links, and I think
that was more Liverpool fans on Twitter. I don't think they were genuine links.
I mean, there was Kylian Mbappe links to Newcastle.
Yeah,
there was. I mean, that is not lost on me. There was. I mean, what a move that would be. But I mean, if one of those players gets sold, I mean, I personally, I don't know about you guys. I reckon you're looking at around 120-30 million for Salah.
You've got a safe bet there.
Argue that. I'd reckon maybe around 100 million for Mane, and I'd reckon arguably maybe again 130-40 million for Van Dijk.
Yeah.
So I mean, though that is a lot of money to be spent, and I feel like maybe not so much Van Dijk, but the two at the front, I feel like one of those gets sold if they've got cold feet and they want to get out of the club. I feel like they can be replaced. Like that.
Yeah. With the money that we get from it, we could easily replace them with a proper big talent. Like, it sounds stupid saying it, but Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
But
I feel like he is an exception. I feel like he is a phenomenal player. I mean, whether he can be pried out of PSG, I can only see one location for that man.
yeah, Real Madrid.
I see Barcelona.
I don't think they've got it in them. I don't think
Really?
they've come in to bring it in. Also, another thing about Barcelona right now, they are currently so stacked up front. I mean, they've still got Suarez and Messi, and then you've got Griezmann, Ousmane Dembele. I don't even know.
There was links with him in Liverpool, Ousmane Dembele, because Klopp really likes him as a player, and I think he would be a fantastic player to bring in.
Klopp brought him in at Borussia Dortmund, so and then obviously he was shipped off to Barcelona. Klopp loves him as a player, and I think having Jurgen Klopp, I reckon that's a gateway, having Jurgen Klopp as a manager, because a lot of players do really want to play underneath.
Well,
him.
Especially now after winning the Champions League. Which is why a lot of Liverpool fans, I think, kicked off that we'd never bought anyone massive in the summer, because we just won the Champions League.
I think we should have capitalised on that little momentum that we had, and not bringing any players in, or maybe letting a few of the dead pieces go. We could have departed with Dejan Lovren easily.
Yeah.
We could have departed with a lot of players easily. We just didn't. And we could have brought a lot of players in. We were linked with amongst the Spurs rumours to bring him in. We were linked with Dybala as well.
Well, we were linked with Pepe.
Yeah.
We were the front runners, but I read somewhere that the reason why we never got him was because he wanted to be the star man. He wanted to start every game, and I wouldn't put him personally above Salah or Mane.
Not at the time. I mean, although he came off the back of an amazing season, you're not going to put, it would be impossible to bench.
So they just couldn't figure out a contract. So they went, all right, see you later, and then he went to Arsenal, and he hasn't really. I don't think he's done well at Arsenal personally. I think he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong, but I think we've missed
a potential minefield.
Yeah.
I was saying that, like, we've let a couple players go as well. Like, we had Emre Can, we let him go for free. We've had.
He wasn't that great though.
He was a solid player though, and he had room to grow. He's like 25 now. 26.
There's a lot of links of him Man United, isn't there?
That's what I was just going to say. Yesterday I looked at BBC Sports and Sky Sports respectively, and they were both reporting that Manchester United are interested. I mean, a strange player for us to be linked with. I don't personally think that's what we need at all. But again, I mean that seems to be a United story all over the place at the moment. So I mean, again, is there a season cap for Liverpool? Do you think if the league isn't won this season, you will see players wanting to leave?
Players will leave.
I personally think it would be, if we don't win it this season, they'll stay for one more, and if that's it, then that would be gone. And I don't think it would be one or two players that would go. I think it would be almost a whole team that may actually think, no, this isn't.
I think we'll have. We've mentioned Trent and Robbo. They'll both stay. Joe Gomez, I think, has got a lot of growth in him, and I think he will definitely stay. Gini Wijnaldum, I reckon, could stay. But then you've got Salah, who might be like, okay, I can win something elsewhere.
Yeah,
I've got a Champions League under my belt.
That's what he wanted, wasn't it? He wanted that Champions League.
Yeah, all these players have got the Champions League medal now.
Yeah,
they've got pictures with the Champions League trophy. They're happy.
Yeah.
I reckon Firmino could stay.
Firmino loves it in Liverpool.
He loves the club. He loves the fans.
I also like. I'm not going to deny Firmino of anything here in terms of him being a good player. I know that is a heavily debated topic because a lot of the time he does kind of get a little bit underrated. But I'm not going to deny Firmino of that. But I think a lot of clubs would be interested in taking him. But I don't think he's at most people's top lists. I feel like he works as part of that trio.
It's because he plays as a striker role at Liverpool. That's what he's known as. He's known as a striker, but he doesn't get the goals or assists, which is what people look at. Where I think you need to look at Firmino's game, where it's not the goals and assists. Without Firmino, I don't reckon Mane or Salah gets the goals that they get.
No, I'd agree with that. I would agree.
What I'd say is, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one that thinks this, because we play a false nine, don't we?
Yeah.
We play Mane and Salah, and then we've got a false nine, which is Firmino.
Yeah.
I think if we were to switch that up, and like we were saying earlier, take Henderson out, right? So then we've got Wijnaldum, Fabinho. We put Firmino at the front head of the midfield as a central attacking midfielder, and get another strike, like an out-and-out striker.
I was going to say a player which I could imagine absolutely causing carnage at Liverpool is in that exact formation you just explained there. Leading the line would be Gabriel Jesus. Can you imagine how elite he would be at Liverpool?
But then you've also you've got the Brazilian links there as well. You've got Jesus, Fabinho, Firmino. They in international breaks, Firmino and Jesus, they link up so much.
Yeah.
And you always see them like in the the papers at the after the games. They love playing with each other.
A lot of the Brazilian players, they do when you see them link up, they do form a real connection on the pitch.
But then it's just trying to take him away from Man City. That's the issue there.
Yeah.
It would be
They'd bump the prices up, or they just wouldn't sell them to us.
Yeah.
I thought there were a lot of...
I think that's like going back in where prime Man United and prime Liverpool. You wouldn't ever see a Man United player go to Liverpool or a Liverpool player go to Man United. Like,
no, you wouldn't.
That would be that. I mean, we had links to Richarlison at the start of this season, and his house got burgled, and it was rumours. Like, that just goes to show that now that Liverpool and Man City have got this massive rivalry, and in my opinion, I think it's the biggest game in English football. Personally, I believe in that.
I'd still agree.
I don't think any player would go like from Liverpool to City or from City to Liverpool.
I feel like, not directly, but
No.
I feel like that. I mean, with United and Liverpool, I feel like you have history behind it as well.
Yeah.
I feel like history means an awful lot.
I mean,
But
you shouldn't go from playing for either of the team and then end up at the other team anyway.
Yeah.
Cough, Michael Owen.
Well, that's what it is. Every Liverpool fan hates Michael Owen. The same
Yeah.
as every Man United fan hates Paul Ince.
But I mean,
Yeah.
But I tell you what, with Michael Owen though, the one thing I will defend that man's name at the time, because you look at the position he was in. He didn't have a club.
Yeah, but if he was Liverpool at heart, he would have gone to Stoke City.
He could well have done, but I mean, at the end of the day, he
I think that just goes to show with Steven Gerrard.
Ferguson took the chance on him, and he came up with a Premier League trophy.
Oh yeah, but then you look at Gerrard.
Did nothing.
Gerrard could have went to Chelsea. I think it was after winning the Champions League or just before it. He could have went to Chelsea, and obviously he was really, really close to. And he mentions this in his film. He was very, very, very close to going, but then he thought winning 10 leagues at Chelsea wouldn't mean as much as winning one with Liverpool. And I think that's why every Liverpool fan loves Gerrard, just because he is Liverpool through and through.
But he didn't even get that one.
Oh no, that is so. If there was one player that you wish won it, it would have been Steven Gerrard.
There was rumours of him coming out of retirement for last season, wasn't
Yeah.
there, when we had it? But then obviously we didn't win it. So
I'll tell you, even if he came out of retirement, came back, and you didn't win it, I'm sorry to say it would have been hilarious.
I would have laughed, but it would have been.
It would have been.
I'd have laughed but cried
bittersweet
inside.
moment,
Yeah. But like that, back to what Michael Owen was doing as well. Like he was banging goals left and right for us. Went to Man United, scored 5 goals in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
He scored 6 goals after his time at Newcastle.
His record at Newcastle wasn't great. His career went downhill after when he left Liverpool to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That was when his career went downhill.
Like he went to Newcastle in the 2005-2006 season, made 11 appearances. 11. Like, he wasn't good. At that point he wasn't good enough for Real Madrid. They shipped him off, and then he came out and said that it wasn't his time at Newcastle was a regret, and that obviously all that time that Shearer was there, he was trying to move away to Liverpool as well. Michael Owen's name has forever been tarnished, and I hate the man.
I mean, he's still a Liverpool ambassador.
Yeah, which is a joke.
Oh, get him out!
I reckon if there was any player to pull it, it would be Daniel Agger.
Yes.
I find it bizarre that he's not one
No,
already.
yeah.
I find that
He
a
is
strange
he
one.
is a Liverpool player through and through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, there we go, guys. I mean, all in all, we've had a good discussion about Liverpool today.
Final prediction, I'd say.
Final prediction.
We've done this already, but do we win the league?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I have to say no, because I as much as I know in my head.
Yeah, but then it goes back to, would you rather watch Man City win 3 Premier Leagues back to back, or just watch Liverpool at least win it once to stop the 3? Because the only team to do it 3 times is Manchester United.
It is true, and I tell you what, as much as it's such a it's just the worst
It's
question.
it's a worse time for a Man United fan
Yeah.
because of
the two
it's
closest
Man
rivals'
City
dominance.
and Liverpool.
Yeah.
So
But I tell you what, if it was for me personally, I would still rather see City win it, and the reason being because of the closeness of the fan bases. You can find Liverpool fans wherever you go. Personally, right now,
that's a good point. Yeah.
I know we banter Man City fans an awful lot. We're very used to it, but I mean, well, wherever they are, that is the. Main
I don't
point of it.
actually.
question, yeah.
I would ask this question now. Who knows a single Man City?
I know
fan here?
one.
I'll tell you, we do.
I know one. I know one. That's it.
I know one, and
combined here, we know 2 Manchester City fans.
He,
out of all
he's
the
a
friends
Manchester
we know.
City fan, and obviously I'm not going to name him, but he was a Man City fan the year they won the league the first time.
Oh, see,
That
my
just goes to say that don't do it. So
see,
No names
yeah,
mentioned.
my mate's been a Man City fan for a while. He knows David Silva.
He knows David.
He
Silva.
gets put in David Silva's box all the time. Like his dad is mates with David Silva.
That's quite a flex.
It's
What
a
a
flex. That is a flex.
What a mate. But there we go, guys. Last one we've got to get out of the way is the Premier League predictions for next week.
Indeed. So, Southampton, Leicester.
Southampton, Leicester. That's nothing but a Leicester win, surely.
Yeah.
I could see a Leicester win in that. I mean, if I had to put a score on that, being
3-0 Leicester.
I was gonna say they won 2-1 with Burnley.
Yep.
So I'd probably agree that I'm gonna say 3-0 Leicester. I reckon.
I'm gonna say 2-1 because Danny Ings is.
I still yeah. That's a
He's
good
scoring.
point. He started his shooting boots, didn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 to Southampton.
2-1 Southampton. Okay.
So next up, we've got. I'm pretty sure this is the early kickoff on Saturday. Manchester City versus Aston Villa.
Yeah,
that's a bloody
12:30 kickoff for that one. That Aston Villa will give them a good run out.
Yeah.
They will give them a good run out, but
1-1.
1-1.
that is an interesting prediction there from Mr. Worrell. Wow. I'm gonna say 3-1 to Man City.
I'm gonna say 1-0. I think obviously that Palace were able to hold them to just 2.
Yeah.
Villa's defence this season's been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'd say Man City can only knock one past them. I'm probably going to be wrong on this, but yeah, say 1-0.
1-0, fair play. Watford, Bournemouth.
0-0.
I can't help but see Bournemouth scoring in that.
I reckon I'm going to put 0-0 on that one as well. I think two teams recently have been pretty unremarkable. I think it will be a struggle.
I'm going to say 2-0 to Bournemouth.
2-0 to Bournemouth. What about Everton, Brighton?
Everton coming off a win against West Ham. You've got their good form. Brighton have just come off.
Is it at Brighton?
Yes.
That'd be 2-0 Brighton.
Oh.
I'm gonna put down 2-1 Everton.
2-1 to Everton.
Everton away tend to struggle, but I reckon that win maybe gave them the momentum to keep it going. So I'm gonna say 2-1 Everton.
I am going to go for 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty even as a game.
It's not going to be one of the most exciting games of the weekend, but I reckon that'll be an interesting one to keep your eye out for. What's next?
We've got West Ham versus Sheffield United.
That's a tough one to predict.
I'll probably go 1-1.
1-1 again. Nah, you got to have a win in that game. You got to have a win in that game.
1-0 to West Ham.
I'm going to say 1-0 to Sheffield.
Oh, Actually, it's not really controversial.
No, not
'cause
really.
Sheffield United are playing well.
I mean, that win against Arsenal, I mean, that's got to be a massive boost for them.
Boost for momentum for Sheffield United.
Because, like we said, West Ham, they just fluctuate every season. So, I'm going to put 1-0 down for Sheffield on that one.
Next game we got Burnley versus Chelsea at Burnley.
Oh, that's a hard one. Turf Moor is not the place to go.
You don't want to go to Turf. It can be a tricky little run going to Turf.
I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
I mean, Chelsea only managed to stomach a 1-0 win over Newcastle, so
At home as well.
at home, I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea as well. I thought that's going to be a tough one.
It's 2-1s across the board.
2-1 across the board there. That game's going to be a good one to keep an eye out for.
So next at home we've got Newcastle taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers.
0-0.
1-0 Newcastle.
Oh, you've done it.
That's a shout.
Yeah. because I mean, Wolverhampton again. We mentioned just a bit of a strange one, but I reckon it's got to be.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you there.
Oh, no.
I am going to, because Newcastle can pull it out the bag, I reckon.
This one, Wolverhampton just go weird again and just end up battering them.
Yeah.
5-0 to Wolves.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
That'll be a good game.
Is it at Arsenal?
Yeah.
At
Oh,
the
2-0
Emirates.
Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal.
1-1.
Oh, you got one. Oh.
Okay, I mean, Crystal Palace lost to Manchester City, but I'm not going to forget the form they've been in of recent. 1-1, and I reckon it'll be Zaha who scores, and I reckon we'll be able to hear the cries of Arsenal fans echoing everywhere.
I'm going to say 1-0 to Arsenal. Just because I think they can bounce back from it. It's going to be an Aubameyang goal, or again Doozy goal, something like that.
Arguably biggest game of the weekend. This one got Liverpool Tottenham.
Oh, I thought you were on about Norwich Man United then.
I-
Relegation battle, that is.
This is going to probably come back and bite me, but I'm going to go 4-0 Liverpool.
Oh, that's a heavy one.
I tell you what, I reckon.
I just think with the form that Spurs are on at the minute, I just think at Anfield, they've not got a great record at Anfield. They hate going to Anfield. They had a very good, I can't remember what year it was, but they had a great run of form. Liverpool dipped in form. I think it was just during December or January. We just dipped in form. They come to Anfield expecting a win. We battered them 2-0. But that'd be 4-0 Liverpool.
I could name a couple of upset Tottenham fans after that game. I reckon.
A couple that have been on the show.
I'm gonna say 2-0 Liverpool in that one.
I am also going to agree and go 2-0 because I think at this point I think we're lacking a few goals. So
the home advantage as well. It's not going to be a fun day.
No, Spurs are going to be run ragged, but it's just whether we can put the ball in the net.
And then finally, it's Norwich Man United, as you mentioned.
The best game of the weekend.
Best game of the weekend.
I'm going to go 1-0 Norwich.
I really wanted to go 1-0 Norwich just to spite John.
Just because I reckon it would be Man United pull out the performance of their lives against Liverpool, and then normal Man United's back against
It's
Norwich.
what I said earlier though. Man United, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to run ragged against Liverpool, like because we go to Old Trafford and we don't. Our form at Old Trafford is not that great.
No.
We haven't won the last 3 games at Old Trafford.
No,
it's such a strange one, isn't it? I mean, I don't think. I mean, the atmosphere on a Liverpool derby it'll be better, But recently, the atmosphere around Old Trafford hasn't exactly been great.
Well, no, because it's full of businessmen. Because the ticket prices are so high. That's a rant for another.
Yeah.
I could rant about the business, just the business of business way of football now.
Yeah.
But
That's another podcast topic in general.
I will rant for days about it. But
I'm going to put 2-0 United on that one. I think off the back of that Liverpool one, something needs to change. And Norwich haven't exactly been in world-class form right now. But I mean,
they did beat Man City at their ground.
They did.
And
don't scare me, man.
And I am going to tip them to do the exact same and beat Man United 2-1.
Oh, good God. I mean, it's a terrifying time. What
was the result for you, Joe? Did you say 2-0?
I said 2-0, mate.
2-0 United. Yeah,
So-
I'm going 2-1 Norwich.
So there we go, guys. Those are your Premier League predictions from us for next week. As always, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode. We're still going strong. We will have all of the the regular content on our Twitter and on our Instagram as well.
Hype train from this week will be going up. Also, the predictions from should already be up on the Instagram by the time you're listening for this for the last weekend's results, and we'll fill you in with all the scores and who's winning.
Yeah, and who's winning? But all
Spoilers, it's a close one.
It is a very close one so far. But again, thank you very much, Brad, for being on this week's episode.
Cheers.
Thank you very
having
much. You've been a pleasure of a guest. So
Cheers.
Yeah.
much better than those Spurs ones,
Yeah.
I'd say.
We'll have to get him on when we beat him 4-0.
that might be.
That'll be an interesting little topic.
It would be,
But there we go, guys. Thank you very much, and we will be back next week.
Yeah.